I would like to start this off by saying this was a very difficult video for me to make, a very difficult decision to make this type of video. Not only because it is so tragic and vulnerable, but because I feel most people would disregard this information and move on, right? Not many people spread awareness. Not many people feel they want to be a part of a controversial topic or to have a controversial opinion about anything, right? Life does go on, right? But I do believe in justice. I believe in truth. I believe in honoring a person who was part of something so brutal and evil that you just can't ignore it. I can't ignore it. There's so many situations in this world that are ignored. And I don't believe that we are using our voice properly when we use social media. We get carried away with how we want to be perceived. We get carried away with what we care about. Researching this situation about Iryna Zarutska, I really hope I am saying her name correctly, it has left me very frustrated, very sad, angry, and most of all, very confused. The information I'm going to provide you is going to be only the information that the internet has provided me. Now, I have done my research. I have done enough to have an opinion on it, but I will tell you, the internet will only give you what it wants to give you, even doing your own research. So, without further ado, I want to start talking about Iryna Zarutska and honoring her right now. She was 23 years old when she died. Okay, this is about a very fatal, a very evil and scary act against Iryna Zarutska. She was born in Ukraine, and following the war where Russia invades Ukraine, she was living in a bomb shelter with her family. So mind you, she was already adapting to an environment that was very unsafe, was very scary, right? To be such a young girl and to understand this type of tragedy going on around you. I can imagine how traumatic that is. So, following several months living inside of a bomb shelter, I don't think that is really grasping anyone's articulation of what that means. She ended up, by the grace of God, moving to America, moving to the United States. Now, there is a law in Ukraine that prohibits men from the ages of 18 to 60 years old to never leave their country. So her father is still there right now. But moving to the United States, she ended up moving to North Carolina. Okay, and North Carolina, in my head, is first of all safer than New York City, safer than Los Angeles, safer than Miami, in my head, right? You think you know something, but in reality, right, things like this will happen. And so, upon moving to North Carolina, she is learning. She's learning the American way. She's learning English. She's getting jobs. She is trying to learn how to drive. She is making friends. She's trying to adapt. Again, her life was pretty much a bunch of survival and adaptations. So The night of this brutal, evil act, she was working in a pizzeria. This is a very humble job, right? She probably didn't even think much of it. She is just working, going home, just like a typical girl, going home in a public transport. Okay, she was on a commute home, just minding her business, trying to get home. A 34, let me make sure I am correct with this, a 34-year-old man behind her stabs her 3 times, twice in the back, once in the neck. Now, seeing this footage was very disgusting. I'm not going to show it to you. In my perspective, I don't believe death is something to be seen on the internet. It is a very vulnerable, a very raw situation. And so, on her commute back, okay, she is just sitting there. This man stabs her 3 times. He's 34 years old. She is stunned for 10 seconds. She is stunned. She doesn't know what to do. When you are stabbed, you don't even know you're stabbed, okay? You are put into an adrenaline that you're not aware, okay? And it was the least that she expected to happen. The people around her didn't see it happen, okay? Now, I am just describing the situation here. I will go into further details, right? But I am just describing what happened. If you did not know what happened to Iryna Zarutska, this woman was stabbed and bled to death. It took her 10 to 15 seconds to collapse on the floor and die in that public transport train. No one came to help her until she collapsed. Now, I'm not blaming anyone that was around her, but the awareness was not there. No. I took lots of notes on this, okay? And I just want to make sure I'm saying everything correctly. This man, suspect, was named DeCarlos Brown Jr., 34-year-old man. Now that I have honored Iryna Zarutska and where she came from and how this situation happened, I want to talk about the suspect. Okay, I want to talk about justice. Because my heart is sickened by the fact that this was even possible to happen. There are so many outliers in the information that I was provided on the internet. There's so many controversial information, and this man was arrested 14 times prior to this incident. 14 times. Why is this man still in the public? Why are we letting a dangerous person out of prison? He was arrested for breaking and entering, armed robbery multiple times, and a possession of firearms. Also while on probation. Okay, now, like I said, the internet will only give you so much information. And that's what really strikes me the most, because why is it so difficult to find this type of information on a person? He was incarcerated in prison for 5 years. So he was in prison for 5 years. Why did they let him go? I don't know. To be arrested 14 times, you would think twice or 3 times would strike an alarm on this person, strike some sort of, person is dangerous, right? Following the incident, right, because this happened a little over a month ago, happened August 22nd. His mother told investigators, the news, that he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. I don't know if you know anything about mental disorders, but schizophrenia is one of the most outlying type of mental disorder. There's not much proof in schizophrenia. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't have schizophrenia, but what is he doing on the streets? What is he doing in the mass public? She said that she tried to give him involuntary commitment. And if you don't know what that is basically putting him in a psychiatric ward, putting him in care for what's wrong with him. And he was denied. That leaves a question mark for me. Why should anyone be denied psychiatric help, right? And why was she so defensive on this topic? I'm not a mother, but I think if I had a son, a daughter who had a mental disorder, I would have done anything in my power to make sure they got help. Any help. Not throw them to the streets. Not disregard them and take no for an answer, right? I feel a mother should never take no for an answer. So the reason that she was denied this psychiatric help was because they only had so many beds, right? The average wait time for a psychiatric bed was 16 days in 2024. You couldn't wait 16 days? Why did you give up? Right? There's so many weird information about this that does not add up to me. Because if you are a mother, a loving, caring mother who says that she tried to get help, why are you not waiting that 16 days? Why is that not attainable for you? That doesn't make any sense to me. And following this, trying to get him help, he stopped taking his medication for schizophrenia. Okay, he stopped taking medication. Why? I don't know. Okay, but this is the information I'm provided. She drops him off at a homeless shelter. Do you not love your son? Do you not care for your son? Right? He has schizophrenia, right? There's something wrong with him. Why are you just dropping him off at a homeless shelter? What are they going to do? What is he going to do with that? It's almost like she just wanted him to crash and burn, in which thus he did. Crash and burn. And now he is going to reap the consequences that, quite honestly, could have been avoided. So, September 15th, he was charged with first-degree murder. And there's a lot of information on this topic, but the one that really doesn't sit well with me was the fact that he was just out in the public mass, where there was something wrong with him, apparently, right? on that public transport train, he did not have a ticket. There's so many things wrong with this situation. There's so many things that could have avoided this. And not only just avoiding it with her, right? He could have been a danger to anybody if he was really schizophrenic. And no, I'm not saying that he's not, right? But there's something in my head, there's something in my intuition that does not believe a word this mother is saying. This mother is guilty. Guilty. Almost just as guilty as her son. That's my opinion. Why did he get on the train? How did he get on the train? How did he get on the train? Okay. This isn't New York City. Okay, this is not your subway station where you can just hop over, a little ticket thing, right? This is North Carolina. There's not that many people getting on this train. And if you see the footage, it's not a full car. It's not full. Everyone has their own seat. So why was he on the train? But the most disgusting, scary part of this is, quite honestly, the judicial system. Why are you releasing someone who was convicted of many charges, felonies, 14 times? Why is this person out in the world? No one thought there was something wrong with him? And that's why I'm like, the internet will only show you what it wants to show you, right? They want to soften the load. They want to make it not so bad looking. No, this is as bad as it looks. It's scary. It's disgusting. It's evil. It's evil to even try to defend yourself as a mother for this. If you knew he had schizophrenia, why is that not something you're telling the judge in 2015 when he was in prison? When he was in prison, why wasn't he mentally checked out? Psychiatric wards, why are they saying no to people? Why are they denying people help? I don't believe this load of crap, okay? And this goes back to where I say, there is no proof of schizophrenia. You can't test for schizophrenia, okay? This is not... Psychopathic tendencies is knowing you did something wrong, but pretty much lying. Psychopathic is lying. And this is quite a psychopathic situation. I blame the mother just as I blame DeCarlos Brown Jr. I blame the mother just as much. It's sickening to know that something like this can happen in this world. It's sickening to know there are people being denied psychiatric help just because they're full. And that's another topic of itself. There's so many things wrong with people that even psychiatric help is full. What is wrong with this world? What is wrong with us? What is wrong? Like, why can't we receive the help we need? And to be a mother, I'm not a mother. I'm not a mother. But I have empathy. I have compassion. And I know for a fact this mother did not have empathy or compassion for her son. She dropped him off at a homeless shelter. To what? To fend for himself? Look what he did. That is a guilt she will have to carry for the rest of her life. And quite honestly, if he is schizophrenic, he won't ever feel this guilt. He'll blame it on that little person in his body that he says controls him, which is so psychopathic in itself. This girl was 23 years old. So young. Watching the last moments of her life, being happy, just living life, working, having a boyfriend, having friends. It's sick. That something like this is not talked about enough, which is exactly why I know I need to talk about it. I really thought that watching the video would, be another video, just, oh, okay, that happened. No. This made me very sick to my stomach. It made me very questionable on what's going on. Okay, what's going on? My heart goes to her family. My heart goes to anyone who was around that situation. I couldn't imagine being in the same car as this and to feel like I could have done something when the poor girl really just silently died. It was so sickening to watch. It was the worst. The worst part was watching her collapse. Like, I can't. No. And him walking away, just no emotion, no nothing, right? Just doing your duties as a schizophrenic. Did I say it was with a pocket knife? I feel I am a little all over the place with these facts, but quite honestly, it is that disturbing and confusing to me. They don't add up. It doesn't add up to me. How does a man incarcerated for 5 years, arrested 14 times, how is he on a public transport with no ticket? How is he able to do this? Now, it's not police fault, right? It's not the people that were on the cart or the train's fault. Okay, it is way past that. It is the fact that this man was out in the open, and this could have happened to anyone. This could have happened to anyone if he was really schizophrenic, right? People say this was a hate crime, this was a terrorist attack, right? The terror is real. The judicial system is terrorizing to me. They let the most dangerous people go. They let the most dangerous people out. And there's people in prison for life. There's people who receive death row. And they're innocent. Like, there's so many things wrong with the system. And I know there's so many situations that present that just as this, right? The judicial system is really messed up. But this one in particular really struck me. Really, no one's safe, pretty much. No one's safe, even when you think you are. Even when you escape a war in your home country, even when you escape from a bomb shelter, you are not safe. To think that America is the land of the free, home of the brave, and full of hope and dreams. Where's that? Where is that? Because we just let people go when they're quite literally dangerous. They are so in your face dangerous. And I can't get over the fact that this mother knew about him. I can't get over it. Because what the fuck? No one else is talking about this enough. You know, talking about Ukraine, talking about the war that's happening, talking about Gaza is very sensitive to people, right? Very sensitive to celebrities, very sensitive to anyone with a voice. And even on the internet, it's very sensitive. Like, if you even think to talk about it, you're canceled. They won't recommend your video. They won't spread that awareness, which is a trip to me. It's a trip. Yes, I am American, but I am a citizen of the world. I am a citizen of the world, right? I was born here, right? Wherever you are born, that is what you know, okay? There's so many people, millions of people who dream and wish to come to America. But there's things like this happen behind closed doors. Things we don't know about. And subsequently, we know about this now, which I do need to speak on because it's disgusting. It makes me want to be a lawyer. It makes me feel there needs to be change, and the only way to change the world is to change it through yourself. But that's, neither here nor there. The judicial system is so messed up. And I can't keep not saying it. So right now he is in a mental hospital for 60 days. Now he's receiving the help he needs after the fact. After actually his 15th crime. And that's only what's documented on the internet, right? If I go to public records of, where this man was in prison, right? I could get more information, I can get more records, right? But it already happened. The crime is made. So now justice needs to be made. This woman who birthed this dangerous person is just as to blame. I'm sorry if this type of topic is sensitive to you. I'm sorry if it was all over the place, but Iryna Zarutska deserves peace. She deserves justice. And I feel my voice can help spread that awareness, can help spread this emotion that is felt about this. I don't believe any video of someone dying should be on the internet, but it's out there. If you want to go look for it, it's out there. Information is all over the place. You can research their names and find what you would like to find. But this is the information that struck me. This is the information I feel needs to be said and reiterated millions of times, okay? There is no reason that a felon so dangerous should be out for any reason whatsoever. I don't know what kind of people in the judicial system think they're doing. I don't know what they believe. But this could have been avoided. This could have been 1000% avoided. Especially on the mother's part. Especially on the mother's part. So. I'm just taking a moment of silence for Iryna Zarutska because I feel even speaking on her name is very, very sad, and I just want her to rest in peace. Because if anyone I knew and that happened to them, or if, I can't stomach it. There's days where I go out in public and I'm wearing my headphones, and now I think of it, why should I ever put my guard down ever after this, after any situation like this? It's a disgusting world. It's evil. But in order to make it feel hopeful, we have to have a voice. We have to talk about it. We can't ignore it, okay? If you see something like this on the internet, it should 1000% be talked about. 1000%, even if it makes you sick, even if it makes you so angry, frightened, even if you're scared of it, it needs to be talked about. It's not talked about enough. So that's my video today. That is my video. This is very difficult for me to make. I feel like I tried many takes with this video. I tried so many ways to approach it, and there's only one way, and it's through a vulnerable, raw, my own pace. Because it's not something that is news reported. It's something that's real, something that I feel. And I feel these things need to be said. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for allowing my voice to be heard. Because without this platform, the voice I would need in this world wouldn't be anything. Okay? And to think that YouTube would even try to take this video down, or to try to block this video from people, that is part of the problem. And so I really hope YouTube would be part of this justice and to help. Because the reason people don't feel they have a voice is because social media is part of the problem, okay? Social media is 1000% part of the problem, and they ban truth. Truth is very hard to find, and if you find it, speak it. And that's it. Thank you.